My dreams are nightmares. How can I sleep? You got the gun against me.
What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the Mattel WWE Elite Collection Wrestlemania series, Edge. And so here we have the Wrestlemania series Edge posed and out of the packaging. Before we take a look at the figure, let's actually run through his accessories really fast. Edge does come with 2 pairs of hands. We do get a pair of grip hands. We get a style pose devil horns hand. We also do get a baseball bat, which does fit in either of his grip hands. Edge gets his entrance coat, which does go on the figure nicely. And then finally, he does come with 2 pieces of the Paul Ellering figure. We do get the main torso, which I'm looking forward to completing him, as well as the older head of Paul Ellering. Other than that, Edge doesn't come with anything else, so let's actually move on to his details. And so here we have a look at the WrestleMania Edge, and I just have to say, ooh, Mattel, you did Edge dirty. Like, this is a very, very bad execution of a figure. And there's a lot of things to not like about this figure. There's some things to like, but overall, it's a bad execution of a figure. For starters, the head sculpt. This is a very terrible head sculpt. I don't know if paint can save it. Maybe mine's just a little bit messed up, but it does not look like Edge one bit. I don't know what they were going for with this figure. It just looks bad, in my honest opinion. The head sculpt alone is very terrible. I mean, there's some sides where you can see Edge's profile, but the face just looks so weird. I don't know what he's doing with his face right here. It kind of looks like he's confused. I don't like this face sculpt one bit. I do like the hair. The hair is a really nice piece of this figure, and you can see they actually did add a wash. This is what I was talking about when I was reviewing the Ultimate Edition's Edge. This is the kind of hair that I expected to see out of that figure. We had the blonde with the darker highlights in it. This is what they should have done with that figure, and the hair is done exceptionally well. The dark points are dark, the higher points are lighter, as they should be. So yeah, the hair looks good. If they had just gone with a different head sculpt, this would be a much better figure. But that is, I'm not gonna lie, it's disgusting looking. And the head isn't the only problem this figure has. Let's take a look at his torso here. This is the Stone Cold Steve Austin torso. Edge was never this big. I know he's gotten muscular over the past few years, but he's not big and bulky. He was never Stone Cold Steve Austin size. He was always a slimmer guy, especially during the Rated R Superstar era. He was a slimmer guy, and this figure is just too bulky. I don't know why Mattel thought giving him the Stone Cold Steve Austin body was good, but you can see it does a lot of negative things for this figure. For example, it looks like he has no neck, so that also adds to the weirdness of this figure. The fact that it looks like he has no neck to speak of. His traps are so high up. Yeah, the torso and the head are the main downs of this figure, but other than that, he's still a solid figure. If you can get past the completely wrong torso and this disgusting head sculpt, this tattoo is done exceptionally well. I do like the way it came out. It's very clean. You can see all the detailing in it. This was before Edge started getting more of his Rated R Superstar tattoos, so you're not going to see the Guns N' Roses or anything else besides the sun tattoo. Something I do like is that on his wristband we do have the Rated R Superstar logo right there. On this side, we don't have anything on his wrist tape. Elbow pads are pretty plain, but they do look good. Then we go on to his attire, which he's not wearing his traditional ring tights. He's actually wearing these camouflage jeans, which they do look good. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Ed should have some side pockets with this figure. It does appear like this figure is missing his side pockets. I don't think he wore just straight jeans. I think they had like cargo jeans where they had the pockets on the side. I know that they didn't want to use the Hardy sculpt for this figure, but you can see that there's something wrong with the pants. I don't know if it's because he's missing that side pocket, or maybe it's because the pants are too dark. I'm honestly not sure. But yeah, that is something to take note. Another thing where I think they kind of missed the mark was this rated R Superstar logo. I think it should have been directly on his kneecap. I know the actual event he probably had it a little bit higher, but the reason I think they should have either had it completely on his kneecap or higher up is because when you go to bend his leg, it does break up that pain app zone. That's where I would have liked to see it either completely on his kneecap or just slightly above the kneecap, but it's still a really nice addition to the pants. But yeah, because he is wearing the long pants instead of tights, you are going to have some hindered articulation, especially here at his ankles, which we'll have a look at when we talk about his articulation. But he is wearing ring boots or combat boots. I don't know what you want to call them. They look like ring boots. They were probably combat boots during the actual event. But yeah, he does have that. So overall, there's things to like about this figure, but oh, so many things to not like about this figure, especially this right here. That mug it's disgusting to say the least, and it doesn't help that one of his eyes is trying to escape his face. That makes it look even worse, at least to me. If you guys like this head sculpt, by all means like this head sculpt, but me personally, it looks kind of goofy, to be quite honest. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually get him compared to other figures you may have in your collection. And so here we have Edge posed next to an Ultimate Edition's Brock Lesnar and a basic Jeff Hardy. And finally, here we do have the WrestleMania Elite Edge posed next to the Ultimate Edition's Edge. So with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually move on to his articulation. Now, Edge here does sport the standard Elite articulation. He does have a ball joint in the head, but because his head sits so low on the neck, we really don't get too much up and down movement. Like, that's as much as we get. We do surprisingly get some head tilt, so that's pretty good, and then some rotation, but because of how low it sits, his head kind of does rotate at an off angle, so do be aware of that. Arms do go out to the side, no problem, and you can see just how problematic that looks. I think they even use the wrong shoulders for Edge. This figure is just a mess in some places, but he does go all the way around, no problem. But because of the way it's sculpted, you can see his arm does kind of go off at an angle when you raise it all the way up. But that's not a big deal, to be quite honest. It does have a bicep swivel, which works fine, no problem. Single bend at the elbow, giving us a little better than 90 degrees, and that's mainly hindered by the elbow pad. If you were to take the elbow pad off, you'd get that better than 90 degree bend. He does have a swivel and hinge at the wrist, no problems there. He does have an ab crunch, which does go back quite a bit. Really impressed with the range it has there. Goes forward better than most, so that's pretty good. He does rotate at the waist. Legs do kick forward and back. They go out to the side, no problem. We do have a thigh swivel up high. Double bend at the knee works pretty good. You can see he gets full range there. We do have a ball joint here at the ankle, so we can move it side to side, as you can see. Doesn't go forward and back all too well. We do have some rocker ankle on that, and of course some rotation. So overall, Edge here does have some pretty good articulation. Even though he's not the best looking figure, I still think he looks pretty decent. He looks just as terrible as Mick Foley, which kind of fitting that they made Edge look just as bad as that Mick Foley figure. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually get him posed for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. And so here we have the WrestleMania Edge posed for my final thoughts, and overall, I don't know how to feel about this figure. This figure does a couple things right, but a couple things wrong. I do like the accessories he comes with. I think the one thing this figure really didn't need to come with was a table. I am 100% bamboozled as to why Mattel didn't throw in a table. A table would have been the perfect accessory for this figure, especially because a table had the biggest spot during the match when Edge speared Mick Foley through the flaming table. Oh, that's just something that Mattel just missed out on. I am glad they gave him the baseball bat, but come on, Mattel. Give us a table, and if you give us a table, why not add some flame accessories? That would have also been really nice. But overall, I'm still pleasantly okay with this figure. It's not one that I'm 100% happy to own, because there are some mistakes that I see with this figure, but he's not Kofi Kingston level bad. That figure was awful. This figure is not that awful, but he is up there with Mick Foley, which again is kind of ironic because he did wrestle Mick Foley, and both of them do have some questionable head sculpts. Overall, like I said, if you really want this figure, you can pick him up. There's nothing against that, but I am just like confused as to what they were going with this head sculpt. It doesn't really look like Edge. It doesn't capture any of his facial expressions, so that's one bad thing about it. And then the torso being a little bit too big is another issue I have with this figure. If Mattel had used the regular body that they used with Edge, I think this figure would have been just a little bit better. And I can live with a bad head sculpt. I can't live with a bad body with a bad head sculpt because that's a lot of work to fix. If you want to pick up this Edge, he is available at your local Walmarts, Targets, and wherever else WWE figures are sold. I actually picked mine up on Amazon for about 20 bucks. So if you are looking for Edge, you can try Amazon, Walmart, Target, or even Ringside Collectibles. With that being said, guys, I'm King of Dragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Go ahead and check out all my other action figure reviews as well as all my other WWE videos. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments, and if it's in my collection, I'll definitely have a look at it. While you're at it, check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos, and as always, ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.